الحمد لله رب العالمين صلى الله وسلم على محمد وآله وصحبه وسلم. Inshallah, we're going to continue with this chapter of inheritance. And the Shaykh Salih bin Fawzan, he mentioned here in this chapter the inheritance of divorced women. So women who have been divorced, so their share of inheritance, right? Verily Allah exalted be He made the marriage contract a cause for inheritance. So the reason why there is inheritance because of marriage. When you marry a woman, then if you die, she will inherit from you. If she dies, you inherit from her. Right? Likewise, if you have children also inherit from you, from your wife. So the parents, they inherit from the children, and the children inherit from the parents as well. The Shaykh said, Allah Almighty and ever majestic be He says, and if you is half of what, and for you is half of what your wives leave if they have no child. Okay, this is in Surah An-Nisa. So basically, the husband gets half of the estate in case there are no kids. Okay? Like for example, you're married and your wife dies, she leaves property, right? No kids. You inherit half of the estate. But if there are kids, you don't get half, you get 1/4. Okay? If we flip this around, the husband dies, one wife or two wives, because sometimes a person may have 2 or 3 or 4 wives. Now, if the husband dies and there are no kids, she gets 1/4. If there are kids, she gets 1/8. If there are 2 wives, they share 1/4. If there are no kids. If there are kids, they share 1/8. So this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned in Surah An-Nisa. He said, but if they have a child, for you is 1/4 of what they leave after any bequest that they may have made or debts. So a bequest or a debt, bequest is wasiyah. Wasiyah is like, for example, a husband and wife before they die, they wrote a will. We call it a will. Here they call it a will, right? That I would like 1/3 of my wealth. He can't go beyond 1/3. 1/3 is the maximum. 1/3 of my wife, I want it to go to a charitable organization, right? For orphans, something like that. I want to build, a Quranic school. I want to have water provided for the people who don't have water, wells and stuff like that. He or she, they can do that, but it cannot go beyond 1/3. They cannot go beyond 1/3. That's called wasiyah. That has to be, fulfilled before they distribute the inheritance, before anything else. Or debts. Debts is of 2 categories. Either the debts of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or the debts of your fellow Muslims. The debts of Allah will be what? Zakat. Right? For example, this man or this woman, they had property, and when the Islamic year elapsed, they passed away. Is zakat due now or not? No, it's due. It's due. Why? Because for zakat, you have to understand, zakat, there are 2 conditions for zakat to be due. The first condition, it has to reach nisab. Okay. Nisab of gold. I'm just giving an example because there are different nisab for cattle, for other than that. But we're talking about property, right? If it reaches the value of 85 grams of gold and up. طيب? For example, Farid, he had some wealth that he was saving, right? So in the month of Safar, this is the month of Safar, right? Your wealth reached a nisab, the amount that is due. If it is there, you have to give zakat. But you don't have to give zakat when the first condition is fulfilled. No, there's another condition. Okay, now you have wealth that reach nisab. Let's say the nisab of gold, let's say 3,500. 85 grams of gold, let's say. Let's just throw a number out there. So you have 3,500 in the bank, in your account. Now from that day that your wealth reached 3,500, you start counting. طيب? What's today? What's today's Safar? What is it? The Islamic calendar. You don't go by Gregorian calendar. You don't go by Gregorian. No, you don't say August. No. You don't do that. You go by Islamic calendar. So what's today? I can pull it up. You want me to? Yeah, I know it's Safar, but I don't know the date exactly. What's the date? Is 7? Is it 8? 11. Okay. Today is the 11th of Safar. Brother Farid, I'm going to simplify it for you. Brother Farid, he had money, reached 3,500, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make a calendar. I'm going to put Safar, the 11th of the next year, zakat is due. Okay? Now your money multiplied. You put more money now. So by the time Safar of the next year, the 11th of Safar, whatever the amount you have, it's very simple. Take it from me. You take that amount and you divide it by 40. It gives you the amount. Remember this. Very simple. $1 million, how much is that? How much is the $1 million? How much you get? $20,000. $20,000. Okay? Imagine if you're a millionaire. You know how many Muslims you can help? Poor people. They don't have no shelter, nothing. Like those people in Gaza, for example. You know how many you can build houses for them? So many. You can give them 20,000 each. They can do whatever they want to do with it, but most likely they're going to get like an accommodation for their family, right? A house. They need food, they need clothing, and all. Zakat system is just amazing. Amazing. If everyone was to give zakat, we would not have any poor people. Everyone would be taken care of. And at the same time, you're teaching those people a good lesson that, look, Islam is a religion of generosity. Islam is a religion that we all work together and help one another, because I can be in the same situation as you. Because what makes me feel certain that I'm going to stay wealthy all the time? I may become a homeless one day. You never know. They have nothing. How many people they were millionaires and the next day they're gone? They don't have anything. Okay. So these are two conditions. The first, the value of 85 grams of gold. When you have it, you start counting the date, the Islamic date. 11th of Safar, I'm gonna give zakat the 11th of Safar of the next year. So two conditions. طيب. This is the debt of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Has to be given. Likewise, if he has not performed Hajj, because Hajj is obligatory upon every Muslim, male and female, if they have the ability to do it, physical, financial, once in their lifetime. So if this man, he had the ability and he did not do it, out of neglect, right? May Allah forgive him. His kids, they have to take away from his wealth the money to perform Hajj on his behalf. Okay? So these are the huquq Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. These are the rights of Allah. Then you have huquq al-ibad, the right of your fellow Muslims. Debts. Like somebody comes, he has a document, 2 witnesses, everything. Said, your dad, he borrowed money from me. This is how much he borrowed. Right? So we have to give him. طيب? Naam. So if he has a proof and evidence, then we have to give him before we distribute the inheritance. It's very important. طيب. This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us in Surah Al-Baqarah. And for them, i.e. the wives, is 1/4 if you leave no child. Okay, now it's the other way around. The husband dies, then the wife inherits. She gets 1/4 if there are no kids. Because the kids, they make the share what? Shrink. They make the share shrink. No kids, the share goes up. Kids, the share goes down. So 1/4, no kids. If there are kids, 1/8. طيب. If you have no child, but if you have a child, then for them is 1/8 of what you leave. Half of 1/4 is 1/8. طيب. After any bequest, any will that you have written, طيب. Any bequest you may leave or debt. So the will and also the debts, they have to be taken care of before we distribute the inheritance. In consideration to this, the 2 spouses inherit from each other as long as the marriage contract has been valid. As long as the marriage contract has been valid. Why would he say that? Because sometimes, if the marriage contract is not valid, there is no inheritance. Can anybody give me an example of a marriage contract that is not valid? Like what?
Like, you 2 families say he's going to be married, but somehow didn't marry.
The contract didn't get done.
Oh, they did not do the yes, exactly. That's one.
And other one is if the woman get divorced and she wait for the 3 months.
Yes, ahsant. Okay, now if a woman was divorced, she was waiting for her cycle to end, right? 3 menstrual cycle. During that period, she got married to a man. Okay? She got married to a man, did a contract. Is the contract valid or invalid? Invalid. Because the woman was still under the first husband. She's still under his authority. She's still his wife. You get it? As long as the menstrual cycle has not ended yet, she's still considered his wife. Okay, now if he dies, and he dies like, for example, 5 minutes before her iddah finished. Is possibility or not?
Yes.
Okay, can she inherit or not? Yes, she can. Because she's still considered a wife because he died 5 minutes before. But if he died after the iddah finished, there's nothing for her. You get it? Or he grant her khula. That will be different. Okay, she said, I cannot live with you, you're stingy, or you're abusive, something like that. I grant me khula, I give you back the dowry. He said, okay, grant you khula. She gave him back the dowry, then he died. There is nothing for her. Are you with me? طيب. The Sheikh, he said, so the contract has to be valid, or it could be, sometimes this happens, you know that? Like there was a case in the US. This man and this woman, they were dating and they were about to get married. And they were feeling like very strange. Something like some strange feeling came upon them. So they said, you know what, let's go and check. Let's go to the hospital where we were born. When they went and checked, they told them that you're brother and sister. Can you believe that? They were about to get married. Subhanallah. Look, sometimes it could be not a biological brother and sister, it could be a foster sister that you have breastfed from her mom. This happens also. You see, you cannot marry your foster sister. You cannot marry her because you breastfed from the same milk as her. So that woman becomes your foster mother. And her husband becomes what? Your foster father. And that girl becomes your sister. And her sisters and brothers become? Same thing. But they cannot inherit. Foster children cannot inherit. Somebody say, well, you're my sister. I have the right to inherit from you. No. Not for you. It's only for biological brothers and sisters. That's why it's very important to know fiqh. That way you know how to deal with situations when they come. Like people are chaotic. When my dad passed away, we went to legalize the document. We're 11 of us to inherit from my dad, rahimahullah. 11 of us. We went to legalize everything, right? The guy who legalized and all the document, he said, you know what? You guys are good people. I have seen people with knives fighting each other. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Over inheritance. Yes. Alhamdulillah, we don't have that. He was shocked. That man was shocked. He said, you guys are nice. How can you be nice to each other? He was like shocked. Because usually people, they fight over inheritance. No, get me this piece of land. Why would you get that? Oh, yes, absolutely. The Shaykh, he said, rahimahullah, hafidhahullah ta'ala, he said, as long as the contract has been valid, until the death of the inherited spouse, until he dies or she dies, unless there is a cause that prevents one of them from inheriting from the other. Like, for example, they are foster brother and sister. Okay? They cannot inherit because she's not biological brother, he's not biological sister. Okay. Or one of them apostate. May Allah protect us from that. If someone apostate, leave Islam, you got nothing. Okay, I'll give you a scenario. A man dies, he leaves a wife, he leaves a daughter, and he leaves a son who apostated. May Allah protect us. He doesn't have any brothers, he doesn't have any sisters, nothing. He doesn't have a father, mother, they all died. In that case, because of the presence of the child, we're going to give the mother how much? 1/8. 1/8. And what happened to the rest?
Goes to the daughter.
Goes to the daughter. No, now the son says, what about my share? Does he get anything?
No.
He doesn't get anything. Why? Because he left Islam. So when you leave the religion, you get nothing. This is a punishment for the one who leaves Islam. See? These are the evil consequences. And that's why the Prophet ﷺ, he said, لا يرث المسلم الكافر ولا الكافر المسلم. The Muslim cannot inherit the disbeliever. Nor can the disbeliever inherit from the Muslim. For example, the revert, those who accept Islam, and the parents are non-Muslims, happens a lot. They cannot inherit from them. But if they left a will, remember, a will. For example, the father, he left a will. He said, I want to give my house to my son and daughter. It's okay. Likewise, the wife gives them a gift, write a will. They can take it. Because a will is like a gift, basically. But inheritance, no. It is not permissible to inherit from the non-Muslim, nor is it permissible for the non-Muslim to inherit from the Muslim.
What about the Muslim family? Dad will and the son get pastor. They can get it?
Repeat?
The Muslim. His dad will, and after he die, or after he will, son somehow become Christian or Jew or whatever.
Yes.
Did he get that one of that will?
If he became, he still can have it.
Because of the will.
Yes, because the will is different. Because the will is like a gift, hadiyah, hiba. It's not like inheritance. And if it's inheritance, in this case, he can inherit from him. Why? Because he has become like him. So the kuffar, they can inherit from one another. Yes. You see, he can even inherit from him because now he left Islam, he's a kafir, disbeliever. So the disbeliever inherit from the disbeliever. And may Allah protect us from that. Today I received a message. One sister told me that this revert sister, she left Islam. May Allah protect us. May Allah protect us. Yeah, may Allah protect us. So the Shaykh, he said, no. However, no inheritance is to take place in case of the irrevocable divorce. Irrevocable divorce is the divorce that is over. Okay, to explain. طيب. Now, irrevocable divorce is like when a man divorces his wife and she finished her iddah. Okay? She finishes her iddah. Then he died. Can she inherit? No. Another case. He divorced her 3 times. This happens a lot with people who are hot-headed. Hot-headed people. They have a temper. Wallahi al-Azim. When I used to be in Georgia, there was a Lebanese man. He divorced his wife in a state of anger. He was crying like a baby. This man. He was crying like a baby. I told him, brother, there is nothing you can do. You just have to wait and make dua. She got remarried. I don't know what happened, but she gets remarried and the man divorces her willingly. Some people, they pay the man. This is haram. It's haram, wal-'iyadu billah. This is not permissible. So if he divorces her willingly, then she can go back to the ex-husband if they want to reconcile. Then they're going to start from all over now. Everything, the past, is gone, nullified. Now they start all over again. You see? So if he divorced her 3 times, then he died, she got nothing. It doesn't count. It doesn't count. So I mentioned one of the stories of this woman who was married to a Saudi man. So this man, he married a second wife, but he did not document the marriage. This is the problem. He was verbal. It was nothing on paper, right? So the man, after 2 years, he passed away. When he passed away, the second wife went to the first wife. Said, can you give me a share of inheritance of my husband? She said, who are you? She said, I was married to the same man for 2 years, and he passed away. She said, do you have any documents? She said, no. She said, we have nothing for you. She went to the courthouse. She told the judge everything. He said, do you have any documents? She said, no, I don't. She said, I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do for you. Then that judge, the woman started calling upon Allah to help her, because all the doors closed in her face. That judge, he had a vacation. So he goes to spend time with his family. So one time he was like a majlis like this, gathering people, sitting down, socializing. And there was a man, he was very sad. He said, why are you sad? He said, I miss my friend. He said, who is your friend? He said, he died like 2 years ago. So what's his name? He said, person so-and-so. Then, flashback. That woman, the woman, that came to him in the courthouse, said, wait a minute. Do you know this man who passed away? He said, yes, of course. He was a friend of mine. Did you witness his marriage to a second wife? He said, yes, I did. He said, do you have another witness? He said, yes, I do. He said, I want both of you to come to the courthouse and testify. Subhanallah. They came to the courthouse. He summoned the first family. And they witnessed that this man who passed away, rahimahullah, he was married to a second wife. Her. They gave her haqq. Subhanallah. Look. How Allah answered the dua of that woman because she was oppressed. But that shows you right there. It's always good to document the marriage because you never know. Anything can happen. It's always good to document the marriage. You just go to a hotel. In Morocco one time I went to a hotel with my wife. He said, sir, do you have the marriage contract? I said, yes, I do. Showed him. Let us in. Because they would not let boyfriend, girlfriend. No. I don't know about now, but back then. I don't know Bangladesh, same thing?
Certain place.
Huh?
There looks the ID card.
ID card.
There looks the ID card, yeah.
No, over there, they ask you marriage contract. You walk with a woman to a hotel, he's going to ask you the marriage contract. Oh, make no mistake about that. I don't know about that not right now, but that's good because that prevents zina, prevents all that, haram people commit when they come to the hotel and they commit haram, boyfriend, girlfriend, all that stuff. You stop it. But I don't know about now. I haven't been there for quite some time, so I don't know. But I really appreciate that. It's very conservative. Alhamdulillah. That was good. I was shocked when he told me that. I was shocked. We were newly married at that time. We didn't have kids. He said, sir, do you have a marriage contract? I was like, what? Yeah, I remember that one. I cannot forget that incident. The Shaykh, he said, for the rule of thumb states that if there is no cause, there is no effect. There is no cause, there is no effect. However, there might be some conditions in which divorce does not prevent the two spouses from inheriting one another. To illustrate, the two spouses inherit from one another in case of the revocable divorce. Okay, now you have a revocable and you have irrevocable. Means الطلاق الرجعي والطلاق غير الرجعي. The talaq, the divorce, where you take a woman back, or divorce where you cannot take her back. Okay, now if you divorce her one time, you can still take her back. I'll give you an example. You divorce your wife, now she is going through her iddah, her 3 menstrual cycle. She can beautify herself to you. She can cook for you because she's still considered your wife. Now, if you want to take her back, you could just have intimacy with her. And that's it. You have taken her back. Okay? As long as the intention is good. طيب? Or you verbally say, I want to take you back. Let's reconcile. And things like that. She's still your wife. Now, if the husband dies during this period, she inherits. Because he could still take her back. طيب. Second time, same thing. But if he divorced her the third time, she cannot come back to him until she gets remarried and divorced. In that case, she has nothing. You get it? Now, the Shaykh said, the two spouses inherit from one another in case of the irrevocable divorce, as long as the wife is still in the waiting period. As long as it's still in the waiting period. Muslim scholars have singled out a specific section for the inheritance of divorced women. Regarding this, divorced women are of three types. The first one, irrevocably divorced woman, no matter the divorce has occurred while the husband is in good health or not. It doesn't matter. She's still his wife, whether he was still healthy or he was sick. Second, a woman irrevocably divorced while her husband is in good health. Irrevocably means he cannot take her back. He cannot take her back. Third, a woman irrevocably divorced while her husband in his last illness. طيب. Concerning the legal ruling of each of the above cases, the irrevocably divorced woman is unanimously agreed to be entitled to inherit once her husband dies, as long as she is still in her waiting period. طيب. Everybody agrees on this one. He divorced his wife first time or second time. She's still a wife. طيب. Now he died while she's in her period, going through her menstrual cycle. He died. There is ijma', there is unanimous agreement among the scholars that she is entitled to inherit from him. طيب. As long as she is still in her iddah. This is because she is still regarded as wife and she is entitled to all right of a wife has. It is also unanimously agreed by scholars that the irrevocable divorced woman, while her husband is in a good health or suffer from a curable disease, i.e. is not seriously ill, not being suspected to have disinherited his wife, i.e. by divorcing her, is not entitled to inherit from her husband, for she is no longer related to him. That's it. Done. Because it's irrevocable. Third time, she has nothing. Likewise, the irrevocable divorced woman whose husband is incurably ill, means he has cancer, may Allah protect us, something like that, does not really, get cured, except when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wills. And it is not suspected to have, and he is not suspected to have disinherited his wife, means taken her from, depriving her of her inheritance, i.e. by divorcing her. He is not entitled to inherit from him. In contrast to the previous case, the irrevocably divorced woman, while her husband is in his last illness, means before he passed away, is entitled to inherit from him during the waiting period and after it ends, provided that the husband is suspected to have intentionally disinherited her by divorcing her. Okay, now, if the man let's say this man has 2 wives, and he loves one more than the other. This can happen. So what he does, while he is in that state of illness, and he knows that he is about to die, so what does he do? He retaliates. He retaliates and he divorces the second wife that he doesn't love, or he has some grudge against her, something like that. He divorces her the 3rd time. So that what? So that she does not inherit. So if we know this is his intention, then we give her share. Because this is dhulm, this is oppression. You get it? طيب. That's what the Sheikh wants to say. Yeah, subhanallah. Some people, they do that. Because he knows he's going to go. So he has like a vendetta against her. Like maybe they had some argument, or they were something. Like he loves the first wife more than her, or she has some problems with his mother, something like that. So he divorces her intentionally to deprive her of inheritance. So in that case, she inherits if we know that was his intention. Or else she does not. طيب. And that she has neither remarried nor apostatized, means she did not leave Islam after the divorce. This view is asserted by the incident when the Khalifa Umar, Uthman radiallahu anhu, judged that the wife of Abdul Rahman ibn Auf, may Allah be pleased with him, whom he irrevocably divorced in the last illness to disinherit her, had the right to inherit from him. See? So this is the evidence the ulama they use. This is the fatwa of Uthman radiallahu anhu. Uthman ibn Affan, from the Khulafa al-Rashidin radiallahu anhu. So he gave her share of inheritance. This judgment, which is not restricted to the waiting period, was known among the Prophet's companions, and none disapproved of it, despite the rule of avoidance of dispute and sins. This is because such an ill-intentioned husband is treated according to his bad intent, i.e. his intentional divorce of his wife in his last illness to disinherit her, and Allah knows best. So inshallah we will stop here. We benefited a lot tonight. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us all beneficial knowledge and righteous action. Walhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Sallallahu ala Muhammad wa alihi wa sahbihi wa sallim. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.